right, so the AFC East, we already mentioned, a very tight race now, as the Patriots, the Bills, and the Jets are all at 5-3, so very tight gap over there. And then you got the Miami Dolphins at 4-4. Any thoughts about who might take this, or are you just saying it's up for grabs?
I
think the Patriots are probably going to take it.
You're only saying that because you're pessimistic, but it's really up for anybody. And I'll be shocked if the Patriots get it, because there's just 3 other teams who have a chance, and the Patriots are not unstoppable as they are with Tom Brady.
And I do think that there's going to be 2 teams in this division most likely going to make the playoffs. So.
I mean, look at this. The Jets have the most points for in this division, and the Patriots have the least points for.
Interesting.
That's just unbelievable. The Patriots have scored the least points in this division, and they're on top. It's not right.
All 3 are 5-3. Trying to evaluate the tiebreaker. I guess they had the tiebreaker because they beat the Jets, and the Bills are 0-2 in division games. So that's what makes them the best. If you look at the best team in the division right now, like against other divisional opponents, I'd say it's Miami, because they beat both the Bills and the Patriots. They lost to the Jets though, but that's when they were bad though. So I think Miami, they're playing the best games against the division rival teams, I would say.
I would say.
But very, very tight race though. All 4 of those teams still very much alive, and should be interesting road in the second half. All right, AFC North. We thought the Steelers were going to run away with it, but suddenly injuries happen, and Baltimore's better play has turned things around like that. So you got Pittsburgh at 5-2 now.
Mm-hmm.
They play tomorrow night against the Redskins, so that game, I don't know who's going to win that. That could go either way, really.
But that's an important game. The Steelers need to win that.
They got to win that, yeah, especially after a loss last week.
And the Skids need to win that for their cause. It's an important game.
Yeah, especially the NFC. Everybody is going for wild card. It's crazy. All right, so they're 5-2. Ravens are 5-3, so Ravens are back in it now. This recent play, and I don't know what that. I guess that John Cena coach is doing a great job.
Yep.
Joe Flacco's not even that good, and good defense though, and Matt Stover's still there. So Willis McGahee.
This coach just comes out to his theme song, and this team plays well.
So they swept the Browns today. That hurts the Browns' cause. They're now 3-5. Browns have major quarterback issues and offense issues, but still managed to win some games here and there. I don't know. Bengals horrendous 1-8. Marvin Lewis will be fired eventually, I guess. I don't know. Carson Palmer, though, I don't think they're going to let him come back on the field this season. I think, they figured
that they're done.
They're done. Why bother?
Why bother?
All right, AFC South. You have the Titans, who came out of nowhere, and on good defense and offense, not making many mistakes, have been able to win a lot of close games. That makes them 8-0. I seriously don't think they're going to be a big threat in the playoffs, but, they're already playing great season so far. We'll see what happens. Running away at their division. Colts are in second, 4 games back at 4-4. You got the Jaguars and Texans at 3-5.
Yep.
They're tied for last at 3-5. I think the Texans, they play a lot better football than the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are going to be the basement of that division. What do you think?
I agree. And the Titans, if you look at points for, are only 3 points ahead of the Texans, and yet they have 5 more victories than the Texans do.
The Titans' defense, as you mentioned, has been very good. Texans' defense is very bad.
Exactly. That's the difference.
The Texans got to learn to play better on the road. All right. AFC West, the worst division in football right now, I think. It's got the Denver Broncos at 4-4, who got off to a good start, and their defense has been so bad all season, though, it's really affected them because their offense is having trouble now. And when you have a bad defense and your offense isn't clicking as it did in the beginning, that's big trouble. So they're 4-4, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs now with this recent play. Chargers at 3-5, a horrible record, but considering the Broncos keep losing, it's keeping you in there. The Raiders are 2-6. They stink, but somehow they get wins here and there, and especially the Oakland Coliseum. Horrendous Chiefs are, 1-7. They've been playing better lately, though, so I think they'll beat the Raiders later in the year, probably. And just a bad division overall. I think the Chargers are going to make it out of these 4. As we already mentioned, they're the best team pretty much in this division.
The Chargers are 3-5, and yet they have 25 more points for than against.
Would you agree they're going to come back and pass Denver?
Yes, I do agree with the excellent play of Phillip Rivers at quarterback, and maybe LT will wake up one of these weeks. He's had good games here and there, but still not as good as he once was.
All right, into the NFC, you have the New York Giants running away at the division. Not really, actually, it's a tight race. They're 7-1. Started off that week schedule to 6 games. Now catching the Cowboys, a big break for them there. They're in good shape. Their style of play, it's kind of a boring team to watch. They don't do any exciting plays, and you don't ever catch them in like the Wildcat formation or. It's just a good pounding running team. Once they get leads, they like to run the clock out. They protect their quarterback really well. Their defense is really strong. And that's what puts this team at top. But I wouldn't be surprised. I'm very pessimistic, very upset about how this team's just dominating, and I think they're going to win the Super Bowl again. But I'm not going to be surprised if also in the next few weeks one of these teams will surprise them, because I just think it's hard to believe this team's going to keep winning and winning and winning and winning. I mean, I don't have any faith in the Eagles ever beating these guys, especially right now with how amazing the Giants are playing. Maybe the Ravens or the Cardinals. I think someone's going to beat them soon, though.
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
You don't really know? You're just waiting to see when they play their challenging games?
Yes, because the first half of the season hasn't proved anything about the New York Giants.
Other than the Steelers, who have they played?
They've played the tough Cleveland Browns.
And they lost that game. Steelers is their only good win so far, I would say, but
they haven't proved anything. And everybody buys into their team. They're like, oh, the Giants are the best team in football. Well, when you play an easy schedule, you just might be the best team in football. But not really, because you haven't proved anything. It's just like Penn State. You play an easy schedule, you're undefeated. But what have you really proved? What good teams have you beaten? Nobody.
I wonder if that guy's going to call in now. I guess he's not listening today. All right, the Redskins are 6-2. I don't know where they came from. They've had a great season so far, though. They beat the Steelers tomorrow. They're in really good shape. Jason Campbell, his play has improved, and maybe I think Campbell might be passing Eli soon as the quarterbacks in the division. The Eagles are 5-3. They've actually won 3 in a row. They're having trouble winning consecutive games for a while, getting back on pace. But now they get the frustrating Giants next week. So let's see. Let's see how that goes for them. And I don't think the Eagles are a very good primetime team either. Westbrook's healthy, though. They finally got Kevin Curtis. That guy was like, remember, he was basically pulling a Stallworth, claiming he was like injured on opening day and saying he'll come back soon.
And look what happened.
Was this his first game, or was it last week? I don't know. Was it last week or this week?
I think last week.
Finally playing last week.
Just like Stallworth, he was out for like 6 games.
So Eagles finally healthy, and I guess they can expect to get depleted next week because they're playing the Giants. The Giants are going to go for some blood and try to injure them.
Yep. And the shocker, the Cowboys in the basement.
Cowboys in the basement at 5-4.
Very unfortunate team.
They just too many injuries right now, and that's hurting them. Going to the bye week, you think they're going to come back healthy, but I don't know. Owens might cause some trouble now, especially when you're in the basement of the division. I mean, he caused trouble for the Eagles, and they weren't even this bad of a shape as the Cowboys are right now. So the Eagles, I think, were like 4-2 or 4-3, and he was whining. Cowboys are 5-4, so that's worse.
Yeah, he's got some issues.
He also had a big fumble today in that game that hurt them.
Yep.
So
There's just nothing more you can say. The Cowboys are just unfortunate at the quarterback position.
Felix Jones out too is a hurt for them. All right, down in the NFC North, you got a bunch of average teams and a horrible team. You got the Bears at 5-3. Got a question with Mark's going on that quarterback status. Is it going to be Grossman? Is it going to be Orton? I don't know. They got to decide on that. You got the Packers and Vikings 4-4. They're playing each other next week, so the winner of that obviously is going to be thinking they're going to hang in there in the division wildcard race, while the loser is really going to take a major backseat because with the way there's so many teams right now, especially in the NFC East and the NFC South above 500, that wild card position is going to be a wild race. You can't afford to go below 500 at any point this time of the season. You agree with that?
I do agree with that.
And then you got the all right, and you got the Lowly Lions at 0-8, close to victory today. They were close against the Vikings as well. I'm sure they'll get a win somehow this year, but
You're sure of it. You're optimistic in that sense, but I hope that they go winless.
Why hasn't those fans suffered enough?
No, they haven't.
They don't win anything ever.
Exactly. I don't know. It would just be a great headline to have a perfect season team and then have a winless team like back to back. That would just be unbelievable.
They come close a couple times. I think they have more talent than that Miami team did last year, so They should be able to get a win, but then
They
again,
should.
those last 8 games, their schedule was not that easy either. So I don't know.
Their defense. It's their defense.
That defense is a
Defense wins games, and they don't have any.
They don't have one.
It's just pathetic. They had the huge lead today, and look what happened.
The one day their defense stepped up, their offense was bad that day.
Yeah.
That was their one chance in Minnesota.
You got to have both working. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that defense is really bad. But I don't know. I think they'll beat the Vikings at home or somewhere down the road. Maybe they'll get lucky. We'll see. All right, you got the NFC South here. This division came out of nowhere. Fear the NFC South. It's so tough now.
This division is so tough at home. Only the Saints have a home loss.
I don't know where these guys came from. They've been so tough is right.